this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is going to be difficult to film without actually getting in the way, so there'll be quite a lot of twisting and turning of the plant because I need to sort of be here to work on it, but you need to be there to view it. So I'm going to have a go at putting this on the competition tables tonight. Now it could do with a few more blooms open, but I've been told that they actually like to see what will be progress. So a bud or two that's not open is not the end of the world, as long as there are a lot more open than not, if you see what I mean. Otherwise, you know, it's not ready for the show if there's not enough blooms open. Now, under normal circumstances, I would check the leaves to make sure they're clean and tidy and they're bug free. These are clean and tidy and they are bug free, so I don't need to do that. Oncidiums don't normally need their leaves cleaning. Cattleyas can sometimes. It depends whether you've been spraying stuff or whether you've got you know, hard deposits or any chemical deposits. Those need cleaning off. They really frown on that sort of thing. So basically this plant you could say is okay, but it's not. It's like with bonsai. You can take any bonsai that's absolute perfection and make it better. You can always make it better, even if it's only a tweak. But what's wrong with this at the moment is this. The spread of the blooms is not appealing. So the first thing I want to do is separate these. I want these farther apart and forward a bit. Yeah? So their ideal place, bearing in mind I can't lose that big leaf, is about there. Then this one won't be too bad. This is a bit wild over here. That would need bringing in sort of here, somewhere like that, so that there's a good mix of blooms relatively close together rather than squashed together and too spread out. So how are we going to achieve that then? Possibly with great difficulty. Right, now I know where these two need to go, which is basically there. What I'm going to do is put a stake in. Now I've got some thin stakes here, and I need the stake, because I want to bring them forward, yeah, I need the stake nearer where I want it to be. So, and I also don't want to see it if possible, so I'm going to put it in behind that cluster of leaves so that with any luck it won't show. Somewhere about there. Probably gone straight through a rhizome. And then what I'm going to do to adjust the position of the actual spikes so that I get them where I want them is I'm going to use some stiff wire relatively low down. Okay, for that we shall need wire cutters. So the idea is to put a little loop round the spike in such a position that it's going to hold it roughly where I want it, which is about there. So we'll put a little loop round there. This is stiff wire, by the way, so I've got to go careful not to crush the stem. I only want to hold it, and then we can use a push-pull mechanism to do what I want with the spike, because the wire's stiff. You see what I'm getting at? So I need to position that behind that leaf. There's much of this that I can hide. The more I can hide, the better. So I'm now going to go round the stake, and that will lock that piece roughly in position. It doesn't need to be exactly in position. This is stiff wire. Yeah? And then the other one, so this one I want about there, and then this one I want about there, so we can cut that off about there, somewhere like that. Right, so you go there. So I need to, as I say, there's something wrong here, and it's the fact that it's moving on the stake, so I'm just going to pinch it on the stake just to hold it still. Doesn't matter if I crush the stake, does it? And then this other loop will come round here and just pull that in. Now again, I'm not crushing the stake, I'm only looping round. Right, Now with our stiff wire, we can come back round here and get our two blooms where we want. Now this one needs to come forward to about there, and this one needs to go about there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. The only thing is, I would prefer that leaf behind the blooms, not in front. This one I can't do much about, yeah? But that's the natural look of the plant, you know, that's how high the spikes come above the leaves. They don't come right up here, that's where they come. This, I'm okay with that, that can stay where it is. It would be nice if the blooms like that. Oh, there we go. Right, that's that one done. Then we've got this awkward one over here, which somehow or other I'm going to have to bring in. It's going to have to come into about there, I think. So what do we want then? I'm going to have a stake in the middle of the plant, which technically I've already got. Yeah, we've already got one stake in there. The question is, can I thread something round the back of those leaves that's invisible or hardly visible? Raffia, I would normally use raffia if I had a decent colour, but that's shouting loud green. That glows in the dark, that flipping stuff, so we're not using that. I'll just shut down for a minute because I might have some string that would do the job. I'll be back. Right, unfortunately this string is nearly as brightly coloured as the raffia. Shall we just use wire? It is black, which is a little less conspicuous than shouting loud green, isn't it? And it would make it consistent. It would show that I've done everything in a similar manner. So what we need is a piece of wire long enough to go from the stake to where that spike is. Right, so we'll come round here so that I can see where the stake is, and I can grab hold of this spike and put it where I want it, which is there. Now, can I hold it there from low down? The lower down this wire goes, the less of it that's going to be visible, because your eye will be drawn to the blooms, yeah? So we'll have a nice low piece of wire down here. This is far too long. Never mind. What I cut off will go in the drawer. I have a drawer with a corner which is like spare parts of wire. So it's offcuts. And they serve a very useful purpose. I think I better cut that loose end off because that looks a bit jagged. You don't want the judge sticking their hands inside the plant and getting a pointy bit stuck in their finger, do we? Well, one of them I wouldn't mind, but the others I'd rather not. Right, pointy bits off. Right, so now we've got to get this to go through the plant to where I want it, tucking behind as many bulbs and leaves as I possibly can so that it's not that visible. And then we'll sort out how visible it is when we get back round the front again. I'm just threading it through at the moment. Sort of like that. To say, this is very stiff wire. That does show, doesn't it? Get it down a bit lower perhaps. Shows a bit less. And then we want to come in round the back of that, round the back of there, and just grab that spike down inside the leaf. Pull it in to about there. So I cut that off there, and then just bend it round. And then we'll adjust it after. Right, so we now need that to pull in. To pull it in, all I'm going to do is bend it. I'm just going to kink it until I get it in the right place. How's that then? Nope, needs to come in a bit more. How's that? Yep, happy with that. You can go around the back. You can come down like that. Tuck that one behind the buds. It's all contrived, isn't it? It's just to get a presence, an attractiveness. So tucking petals behind sepals is okay. That's deemed okay. That one's only got a single bloom. So we've got, this one's a bit far forward, I want him back a bit. I think that's about right. Let me just turn it so that it's facing me. Yeah, I'm happy with that. In fact, that one's going in a bit more. Just a bit closer. Yep, happy with that. So you're looking at the view now with the blooms more evenly spaced. Yeah. So that's part one. We haven't finished yet. That's getting the plant sorted out. Now we've got to get the pot sorted out, because putting it in like that is a no-no. It needs a black pot. They will mark it down in the presentation points, because our basic, it's not a rule, it's a guideline. But if you go against the guidelines, you will get marked down, and the guideline is it goes in a black pot. So that looks huge, but once it's in there, it won't be so huge. And next golden rule is the pot clean? And the answer is no. So I'll be back. Right, giving the pot a wash. What I have noticed is that it's got some paint. Where's it gone? There. Got a couple of flecks of paint. So that needs to go at the back. Every little helps. Right, what are the rocks for? The rocks are to stop it wobbling and falling over. Weight in the bottom. Right, now we've got to see how the pot sits. That's too high. Too high. So, have we got any other rocks? That's the thing. Let's have a look. What else have we got? We've got these funny things. So these are not rocks exactly, but they'll do the job. So we need less. We need, how about that one? It's a pretty rock, isn't it? How does it sit on that one? Still a bit high. So then we've got these shiny egg-shaped polish rocks. Oh, I swear they're not mine, they're my mum's. That's probably still going to be a bit high. Well, what else can we do then? All the rocks are too big, so what we do then is scrunch up some newspaper, and then I can squash it down to whatever height I like, can't I? There's always a way. So we'll put a couple of pieces of newspaper in, relatively loosely scrunched, so that I can now sit the pot on it and scrunch it down as far as I like, and then it should just stay where I put it. So I want that to go in so about there. Yeah, that's good. Right. Of course, we're wobbling our spikes around, but we won't worry too much about that. Now what I want to do is put some newspaper just round the edge of the top of the pot. That will hold it upright, and it will allow me to do something else. You might think this is a lot of fuss, but there will be people that could have been working on their plants all day to get them in tip-top condition, I don't take it that seriously, but this is good practice for what I would call a proper show, which this isn't. This is just the competition tables at an orchid society. This isn't a show where the RHS are judging or anything like that, although it will be judged by qualified judges. Right, how are we doing here? There we go. Right, now why did we do that? We did that so that this doesn't all fall down the sides, and this is called dressing the pot. This makes it look as though it's growing in the black pot, but it isn't. This is just to make it look pretty, nothing more. This is just prettying it up. But you'd be surprised how many people don't bother, and their whole presentation just has a tatty look about it, where they haven't bothered. And you have to bear in mind, when something's about to get judged, the judge does an approach, what I call an approach walk. You know, they're right over there, and they walk over towards your plant. And the idea is that they're interested enough to keep going and arrive, not sort of get halfway and go, oh, I don't think I'll bother. You see what I'm getting at? Right, now I will have to do a different label for that. Can I get away with using that one? Yes, I can. The thing is, to be strictly precise, I can't guarantee it, but I'm reasonably certain, because of what others have said, that this isn't a pure Miltonia morelliana. It's been crossed with something, and I don't know what. So, on the label, I need Miltonia morelliana, and in brackets cross. And I think I can just about write that on that label. I'll have to write a card out to go with this, so you know, the label doesn't have to be that readable, but it has to be there, and it has to be one. I'm just making sure that the newspaper doesn't show. Right, so I just need to put that cross on there, just to show that, actually I'm going to do a new one, because otherwise you've got a dark black bit and a light black bit. What's light black called? Grey, isn't it? Oh, look how these are discoloured. Nonetheless, so we want Miltonia. I'll just put cross on the end with a question mark, because I don't actually know that it is genuinely a cross. It may be the real thing. Like I've always said, if you've got a species and you produce seed, you get 200 new plants. Well, in amongst those are going to be some really vigorous, strong ones and some weak ones, and an awful lot virtually the same. But when you produce from seed like that, that's where these varieties come from. That's where these special ones pop out, that, you know, that weren't there before. So it could well be that several really good, vigorous Morellianas from seed were crossed back together. So you're still crossing the species back with itself, but choosing two really strong, vigorous ones that have put some extra vigour in, and you end up with a bigger, better plant. with bigger, better blooms, but it is still the species. This is possible. It's not beyond the realms of credibility. Anyway, so that's as it will go to the show now. As I said, I wanted the blooms better spread. The leaves preferably tucked behind them. The trouble is this has got to go in the car to get there, so it's going to waggle around and I'll have to reset all the blooms I expect when I get there. And then this one brought in that little bit just to make it part of the whole plant and not hanging out the side. So there we go, that's ready to go, and oh, wish me luck. This is not being put in the show to take first place. I don't know what on earth will be there. There might not be many plants there at all. This is our first meeting with a proper real display table for over a year and a half. We might not have many people there at all because we're not meeting in the normal place because we couldn't get in. So we may end up with not many people there, and out of those people there might not be many plants. You know, if mine's the only one, it automatically comes first. Anyway, we'll see. I just thought you might be interested in just the thoughts that go into presenting a plant for some sort of judging. And the idea is just simply, the bottom line is make it look as good as you can. With the materials you've got, make it look as good as you can. So there we go, something a bit different. See you next time.